This tweet pretty much sums up Twitter in the cesspool that is Twitter. And the things you see on Twitter and the mainstream media. Twitter is now the mainstream news media, now that the liberals have taken it over. But even when you have a blue check or you have a large following, you can still be an idiot. And there's plenty of idiots on here. People who had a 34 in science argued about the vaccine. And this sister, she's upset because this waiter took her order and he wrote on it, girl by herself, because she was by herself at a restaurant. But they do that. Like they might say dude in the, like me, dude in the Redskins hoodie, or whatever description they give of you. But this lets you know that there's nothing you can do now in 2021 that's not going to be offensive to somebody. Somebody going to be offended by everything. She offended that they wrote girl by herself. So that, you know, when the bus boys come by, because all the time sometimes the waiters take the orders and they serving other tables. When your food ready, somebody else come bring you food. And they wanted... So that when the person get the ticket, they know, okay, it's the girl that's sitting at the table by herself. There was a myriad of other things they could have said more disrespectful, but she found this disrespectful and she's upset. TMZ, reputable news source. I mean, they own it. When they, if you want to know if something's true, go to TMZ. However, they're part of the liberal leftist mob, media mob, as well. And look at this story. Cops stop fellow officer from punching handcuffed woman. Now, you already know the race of the woman. If the cops stopped, they only show videos of cops being lenient to people if the person's white. And they only show videos of cops being harsh on people if the person's black. So this white woman, the cops, look at how the cops were able to stop. If this was a black woman, they would have just let the cop punch her in the face for no reason. That's what this article's about. Police brutality. Cops stop fellow officer from punching handcuffed woman. 3 cops criminally charged for not stopping Derek Chauvin from murdering George Floyd. May have gotten the attention of a couple of California cops. There's 17,985 police departments working 365 days a year. And they think that these cops is thinking about... When these cops in the street, they thinking about goddamn Derek Chauvin and George Floyd. These cops thinking about what they just heard the dispatcher say. It's some crazy woman doing XYZ, hightail it over there. Any officers in the unit, any units in the area. Yeah, we're in the area. We got a call for such and such place. Get over there now. That's what the cop is thinking. And what the dispatcher told him what it's about and what he should expect. And it... Ain't thinking about no damn George Floyd. Three cops criminally charged for not stopping Derek Chauvin from murdering George Floyd may have gotten the attention of a couple of California cops because they stepped in and stopped a fellow officer who pretty clearly crossed the line by punching a woman. 3 cops in the OC were detaining and or arresting a woman Wednesday when one of the officers landed a couple of right hooks to her face, something that sure seemed unnecessary and excessive. Yeah, if you weren't there, the other 2 cops clearly felt their colleague crossed the line. They stepped in and stopped their partner from landing more blows, pushing the cop off the woman. It's fair to wonder if some officers are changing their behavior in the wake of the Chauvin trial. There's 17,985 police departments in this country. This is just one of those police departments. Minneapolis is another. And they gonna sit here and act like, oh, so this should happen. So let's just say this happened once a day in every department. That means it would be 18,000 times a day a cop punched a woman. They don't leave nobody no room for error. If we got 18,000 police departments in this country working every day, 24 hours a day, 3 shifts, 8-hour shifts a day, and only one woman get punched by one woman who acting crazy get punched a day, that's great. Oh yeah, of course, DC, 3 homicide shootings in the last 3 days. That's nothing. Hashtag stop the violence.
We want to get back to our breaking news. Mara Siriani live outside Grady Hospital with more on a shooting in southwest Atlanta. A total of 5 men shot here, Mara.
Well, Sheba, of those 5 men shot, 1 is in critical condition. We're told suffering a gunshot wound to the head. The other, the good news, they are expected to be okay, suffering some non-life-threatening injuries. But I want to take you right to that scene. This all unfolding at an apartment complex. This was around 10:30 last night. This is video from Oakland Lane Southwest. Now, investigators at that scene said that all victims range in age from 21 to 32. And as you mentioned, all of them are men. So investigators say that one of those victims was rushed to the hospital while the other 4 were taken by private vehicle. Officers spent hours at that scene canvassing the area, looking for potential witnesses and, of course, collecting evidence. They say the victims were all hanging out in front of one of the buildings when an unknown number of suspects from an adjoining apartment building came outside and opened fire.
Who knew about this? This mass shooting in Atlanta a few days ago. I told you that if they were to discuss every mass shooting involving black people, it would make us look so bad that people would get tired of hearing about how bad police allegedly treat us. People be like, wait a second. Y'all have 100 times more mass shootings as a race, just mass shootings. As people killed by cops, acting like jackasses and resisting arrest. For every one person in your race that act like a complete idiot, disobey, can't follow directions, do the exact opposite, try to run, get away, make a crazy, hectic situation out of nothing, and end up getting shot. For every one of those, your community has 100 mass shootings. Just let that sink in. Let that sizzle your spirit. Huh?
In front of one of the buildings when an unknown number of suspects from an adjoining apartment building came outside and opened fire. At last check, no one is in custody. They're still searching for suspects at this point, and a motive is unknown.
Mara Siriani, thank you so much. And we're saying someone shot and killed 19-year-old Stephen Middleton during his visit to Atlanta. Tonight, Middleton's mom is speaking out, detailing the dreams her son had before his life was tragically cut short.
Fox 5's Angelique Proctor joins us tonight from Southeast Atlanta. And Angelique, we understand investigators have issued an arrest warrant in this case.
Who think the arrest warrant is for a Klans member? A Capitol rioter? A Proud Boy, a Klan member, a Nazi, a fascist, any one of those groups. Or we put all those groups, racists, white supremacists, all those groups in one group, one pile, it would take another group, niggas. Which, do you think it's one of the 10 groups I named on the left, or a nigga? Who you think this arrest warrant for?
Fox 5's Angelique Proctor joins us tonight from southeast Atlanta. And Angelique, we understand investigators have issued an arrest warrant in this case.
That's right, Tom. Atlanta police confirm they have issued an arrest warrant in this case, but I can tell you, this family in Toledo, Ohio, really having a hard time with this. They especially are concerned because the suspect in this case was supposed to be the victim's friend.
What's so bad that he can do that they took my baby tonight?
Laura Smith says her son, Stefan Middleton, loved football and had dreamed of a career beyond high school. But someone shot and killed the Toledo, Ohio teen in a car while visiting in Atlanta last Thursday. Atlanta police say his body was dumped on Custer Avenue.
They just out the car like he was trash, and I don't understand it. I don't understand.
Ms. Smith tells me Stefan was a wide receiver who wanted to play college ball, but she didn't have the money to finance his dream.
Because we didn't have the funds, and I wasn't one of the fortunate ones that could send my kids to college.
What is she talking about? What's she talking about? If your son could play football, they gonna come find him and give him a scholarship. What is she talking about? She couldn't afford. What the hell is she talking about? That's not how it works. If you could play a lick of football, some college coach is going to send you a letter begging you to come to their school. Trust me, I got a nephew who's a starting quarterback at the best school in D.C. My little brother played at one of the best private schools in D.C. If you can play, they gonna come find you. What is she talking about? She have enough money to send her son to school to play football. They will give your son money against the rules, under the table, to come play. What is she talking about? And this kid's from Ohio, so say she needed some money to sit. Let's just say what she's saying isn't absolutely crazy. Where LeBron at, man? Kid from Ohio, man. LeBron couldn't slide a couple bucks, man.
Stefan was a wide receiver who wanted to play college ball, but she didn't have the money to finance his dream.
Because we didn't have the funds, and I wasn't one of the fortunate ones that could send my kids to college.
This Toledo mother wants answers now as to why a trip to Atlanta for fun had a deadly ending. Atlanta police say the 19-year-old was in an argument with someone when he was shot. Even worse, Ms. Smith says detectives indicate the man who likely pulled the trigger may have been someone Stefan knew.
It's just to know that it was one of his friends that hurt him. One of his friends hurt him. And I just want to know why.
Now, police say the suspect in this case is also a teenager, 19-year-old Darian Johnson. We are reporting live in southeast Atlanta. Angelique Proctor, Fox 5 News.
Your heart just goes out to that mother. Angelique, thanks.
Breaking at this hour, the Escambia County Sheriff's Office on the hunt for 4 gunmen they say shot 5 people in Pensacola yesterday.
Deputies say the suspects fired off around 40 rounds into a crowd at Oakwood Terrace Apartments.
Our Hal Sherrick has reaction from a resident, and he also spoke with the sheriff, who says it's a miracle no one was killed.
I'm trying to get out of here, and I pray that God get me up out of here soon.
Mavis Gaskin says other residents at Oakwood Terrace feel the same as she does after last night.
It's just sad, and I'm terrified. Last night, that was the best. I cried.
It was was still daylight around 6 yesterday evening when deputies say 4 men pulled up in front of Building P at Oakwood Terrace, got out of a stolen SUV, and started shooting.
These are people that intended to kill people, and they didn't care who it was. They didn't care if it was the person they were looking for, and they didn't care if it was the person they were talking to. They didn't care if it was a young child they were holding or a child in the area.
Who knew about the mass shooting in Pensacola this weekend? Huh? And look, what this white man is telling you is very, very, very important, but it's so, like, it's so crazy that it's just there's no outrage about what he said. That the outrage is about, and they're in Pensacola protesting because the kid in Chicago, the little Latin kid, got shot. They're protesting because George Floyd and Deontay Wright in Pensacola. But listen to what this white man say. This white man who protected this community, who gonna come if you call. You can't call the NFAC. You can't call Black Lives Matter, the real estate agency, BLM Real Estate. You can't call them. But you can call this white man. Here come running. Listen to what he says.
These are people that intended to kill people, and they didn't care who it was. They didn't care if it was the person they were looking for, and they didn't care if it was the person they were talking to. They didn't care if it was a young child they were holding or a child in the area.
Investigators say the entire event took place in a matter of just a minute or two. The suspects fleeing the scene in this gray Ford Escape reported stolen earlier in the week from Weller Avenue. It was found later last night, abandoned and burned. 5 victims in all had gunshot wounds, 4 taken to the hospital right away. Investigators say a 5th went on their own later. Escambia County Sheriff Chip Simmons didn't go as far as to describe it as a gang-style shooting, but did say it appeared to be very organized.
You can tell that when they get out, they go straight toward those people. This is a rather large complex, and there are a number of people milling around, and they stopped right at the P building.
He says 2 of the gunmen got out of the SUV with handguns and spread out, while the other 2 remained at the vehicle with long guns. Simmons says he doesn't believe the shooting was random and that the gunman most likely had a target. Deputies have no suspects at this time and are asking for the public's help. These are pictures of the stolen SUV used in the shooting. It's a gray Ford Escape, and investigators are hoping someone may have seen it and its occupants before or after the shootings and be able to provide information to help track down the suspects.
There's no way that 4 people in the middle of the day can get out in a crowded apartment complex, fire 40 rounds, get back in the car, and then leave, and no one knows anything. We know that's not the case, so we're asking for your help. We cannot allow this to happen. This is not the type of community we're going to live in. This is not the type of thing that we're going to tolerate.
What you say, Cracker? This is exactly that type of community. This is so much that type of community, I'm starting to wonder if you even believe what you just said. This is the prototype of that type of community. This, if you look up that type of community in the dictionary, well, damn, every community is like this. And DC might pop up, so I don't know. But if you look up that type of community in the dictionary, a lot of cities gonna pop up, and they all gonna be black. Okay, that is this type of community. Okay.
There's no way that 4 people in the middle of the day can get out in a crowded apartment complex, fire 40 rounds, get back in the car, and then leave, and no one knows anything. We know that's not the case, so we're asking for your help. We cannot allow this to happen. This is not the type of community we're going to live in. This is not the type of thing that we're going to tolerate.
Now
let's take a look at these two pictures that the Escambia County Sheriff's Office just sent Fox 10 News. These two men are wanted for questioning only related to this shooting. These pictures sent to us by the Sheriff's Department appear to be taken by surveillance cameras. As you can see, one of the subjects appears to be wearing some kind of tactical gear in that picture. Once again, if you recognize either of these men, they're wanted for questioning only as it relates to this case by the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. Now, investigators say that while the injuries to the 5 victims in this case were not life-threatening, they were severe in the sense that they were hit in the arms, legs, and even the head in one case, but they are expected to be okay. Now, if you know anything about where that car was seen, if you know the suspects in this case, or if you recognize either of those two men we just showed you pictures of who were just wanted for questioning, you're asked to call the Escambia County Sheriff's Office right away. Reporting live in Escambia County, Hal Sherrick, Fox 10 News.
A very big concern. That is what Bessemer Police Chief Michael Roper is telling us about a recent murder spike in his city. Now, there's already been 18 homicides in Bessemer this year, and that is the same number of homicides for all of last year. Chief Roper tells us easy access to guns, one of the contributing factors that he gives for the uptick in those murders.
What do you think is the reason for the uptick in murders in Bessemer? Bessemer, the reason I chose this little city, I get a lot of videos about Birmingham area. Salute to all you guys sending me those videos about Birmingham. And I can't do a video every day about Birmingham, but I could. But I'm gonna do a video on Birmingham soon. I'm gonna let y'all guys see what's going on. This is a city outside of Birmingham. Little teeny little town. Anybody know why they got as many murders through April 20th of this year as they had all of last year? And last year was a big year. An extraordinary amount of murders. Anybody got any idea why they might be having a huge gun violence problem in Bessemer?
Bessemer Police Chief Michael Roper is telling us about a recent murder spike in his city. Now, there's already been 18 homicides in Bessemer this year, and that is the same number of homicides for all of last year. Chief Roper tells us easy access to guns, one of the contributing factors that he gives for the uptick in those murders.
There's entirely too many young people carrying firearms. We're finding 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds. We're catching them firearms.
Chief Roper says his department seized more than 100 guns off the streets so far this year. Speaking of getting guns off the streets, there will be a no questions asked gun buyback in Birmingham in just a couple of weeks. In exchange for turning in guns, the Phi Beta Sigma Frat will award citizens with Walmart gift cards. Now, the buyback will take place May 8th. That'll be over at the First Ebenezer Baptist Church from 10 until 2.